Now by the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell. Good morning, Mr. Leader. Welcome back to the Hugh Hewitt Show. Great to have you.
Good morning, Hugh. Glad to be with you.
Have you spoken to the president since his diagnosis of the COVID virus?
No, I haven't, but it certainly underscores that the coronavirus is not concerned about the American election because, and that it's not going away until we get a vaccine. And we're, of course, as you know, pursuing a vaccine with a Manhattan Project type focus.
Okay, I wish him well from everyone when you do talk to him. I'm sure that will be today. We have done a lot of interviews, Mr. Leader, in the last 2 weeks with 17 members of your caucus, because I think this may be the most important month for the United States Constitution in years. Do you agree with the importance given the nomination of Judge Barrett to the Constitution of this month?
I absolutely do. And you know that you and I both agree that the most significant, long-lasting accomplishment of the last 4 years, the president coupled with this Republican majority in the Senate, has been putting young men and women on the bench who believe in the quaint notion that maybe a job of judge is to actually follow the law. Now we have an opportunity to put another Supreme Court justice in place. We've done 53 circuit judges and a total of over 200 to the federal judiciary that I think will reap benefits for the American people for decades to come.
Will Judge Barrett receive a vote on the floor before the election, Leader McConnell?
Well, the plan is for the nomination to come out of committee on October the 22nd, as Chairman Lindsey Graham has indicated. And we will be voting on the nominee very soon. I haven't picked an exact point to bring the nomination up, but it's front and center for the American people. And as we move ahead, I'll be more specific about the precise time for consideration on the floor.
If they are resolved, is there any way, if you want to have the nominee voted on, is there any way that you could not have enough time given Democratic obstruction?
No, I think we can move forward. Our biggest enemy, obviously, is what we were talking about at the beginning of the interview, the coronavirus, keeping everybody healthy and well and in place to do our job.
Should the hearing be conducted remotely? Should the room be kept relatively uncrowded if, in fact, the Senate Judiciary Committee convenes at the instruction of Senator Graham?
Yeah, they've been careful already. The members, some of them have, I think, done their interviews in previous hearings remotely. This sort of underscores, I think, the need to do that. And I think every precaution needs to be taken because we don't anticipate any Democratic support at all, either in committee or in the full Senate. And therefore, everybody needs to be in an all-hands-on-deck mindset.
Is any member of the Senate, Democrat or Republican, to your knowledge, do they have the virus?
Well, we don't know. But, it can sneak up on you, as it obviously did with the president and first lady. So we're being very careful and keeping an eye on everyone.
Right. Is the FBI full field background, which was conducted for Judge Barrett in 2017, updated yet?
I think so. Chairman Graham and the committee could answer that, Hugh. I think so.
All right. With Justice Thomas and then 2 years ago with Justice Kavanaugh, the Judiciary Committee completed their proceedings and then had to reopen them. I'm of the opinion that the chairman, Senator Graham, ought to begin the hearings with a firm declaration that once they close, they will stay closed. Do you agree with me?
I believe that, unless there's some completely intervening event like we experienced in Kavanaugh, that the chairman has indicated the hearings will start on October the 12th, and they'll go over a 3-day period, I believe it is, and then the nominee will come out of committee.
Now,
on the 22nd.
Do you expect the cable networks or anybody in broadcast to give a would-be Michael Avenatti the same kind of access to distort and lie as he was granted in the last round?
Well, that was a bizarre experience, a horrible experience for Judge Kavanaugh, and I was proud of my members for fighting their way through it. Let's look at the nominee. This is a woman who's led an extraordinary life. She's got 7 children, 2 of them adopted, 1 with special needs, an outstanding she's led an incredibly outstanding life with a wonderful family. We don't anticipate any kind of unanticipated event that could throw us off schedule.
Now, in my opinion, Senator, 4 members of the Judiciary Committee have violated Article 6, which bans religious tests in the past. Senator Feinstein, when she asked or when she said the dogma lives loudly within you. Senator Durbin, who is himself a Catholic, when he asked Judge Barrett if she was an Orthodox Catholic. Senator Hirono, when she responded no to a question, is religion off the table? And Senator Harris, in fact, I want to quote Tony Gutierrez from the America magazine, that's the magazine of the Jesuits, on August 20th of this year, quote, Senator Harris's questioning of Brian Boucher during his confirmation hearing for a federal judgeship also raises questions among Catholics, especially the Knights of Columbus, of which I have been a member for 15 years. Senator Harris, along with Hawaii Senator Mazie Hirono, questioned Mr. Boucher's ability to serve impartially based on his membership of the Knights. Do you think your colleagues violated Article 6 in these instances?
I do. I think this is the single biggest issue in the confirmation of Judge Barrett. Discrimination against people of religion was on full display. I think our colleagues on the other side need to be reminded there is no religious test for public service in America, none whatsoever. And I think the questions indicate a bias against people of faith as if they somehow can't carry out their jobs objectively. Well, Judge Barrett has previously sworn to uphold the Constitution. There is no religious test, and I think this is totally out of bounds, and we'll be talking about that a good bit during the confirmation process.
Have you discussed with Chairman Graham gaveling down as out of order unconstitutional questions?
I haven't. I have every confidence that Chairman Graham will be able to handle this process skillfully and efficiently.
Now, some very smart people who I respect, and I know you do, George Will, Jonah Goldberg among them, have proposed, instead of a confirmation, a deal. And these are wise people. They want to do a deal that would have you agree with the Democrats. We won't move Judge Barrett if you agree not to change the filibuster. I personally believe that's an unconstitutional condition of a future legislature. But what's your reaction to the Will Goldberg proposal?
A terrible idea. They've been, look, these threats to filibuster, the district and Puerto Rico, the state, and to pack the Supreme Court predate the Barrett nomination. They were already threatening to do this. So you couldn't believe them if we agreed to delay the nominee. We don't intend to delay the consideration.
I'm glad to hear that. Let me, a side note. Have you considered increasing security for judges after the attack on a federal judge? And I mean, this is a crazy time we're living on. Is there in any phase 4 provision for increasing security and maybe pay for judges as the Chief Justice repeatedly asked for?
As you can imagine, Hugh, we never discuss security issues publicly.
All right. That's a well put. If, as I expect, Judge Barrett becomes Justice Barrett, there will be a vacancy on the 7th Circuit. White House Deputy Counsel Kate Todd would be wonderful, but if she or anyone is nominated to replace Judge Barrett, will there be enough time to confirm that successor before the end of this Congress, raising your record number of appeals court judges to 54?
I would hope so. Our pledge to the American people is to leave no vacancy behind. No vacancies at the moment for the first time in 40 years. I'd like to be able to still keep that pledge, and so we hope to move forward with a nominee if we get one rapidly from the White House.
Let me ask you about Senator Harris. She has blocked judges for California. I used to live there. People like Rick Richmond, who's just a big firm litigator, a wonderful lawyer. He's not particularly political, extremely competent. But she hasn't allowed a number of these judges to move forward so that justice can function in California. Ought that to be an issue in considering her as vice president?
Well, it's interesting. In a state where you have 2 Democratic senators, the only way you can move forward at the district court level is to basically make a deal. And typically what the White House does, so you take so many and I take so many, and they divide them up. I think that's probably what's happened in California. At the circuit court level, as you know, we view that as a presidential prerogative and not something senators can blackball. So if the person you're suggesting you're concerned about was the nominee for district court, yeah, that's probably why that person didn't go forward.
Well, I really do think she ought to be criticized about that, but especially she and the former vice president ought to be criticized for not answering the question about packing the court.
Yeah, well, look, Hugh, on that, when they don't answer the question, and you know what the answer is. The answer is yes. They fully answer. A good reason why we shouldn't allow the Democrats to get control of the Senate or the White House.
I've explained, but maybe you should. Why is packing the court so radical? Why did not even FDR get it through a democratically controlled, I believe, a supermajority at the time? Why is that so destabilizing to the Republic, Senator McConnell?
Well, let me quote the late, great Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was asked that last year, and she said 9 is a good number.
And
she also referred to the court packing episode in the 30s and how that was a mistake.
Is the push for DC statehood, in your view, unconstitutional? I believe it is because of the obvious presumption that it would not be a state, but do you think it's unconstitutional?
I don't know. I hope we don't get to that point. As you know, the House of Representatives has already passed DC statehood. Every Democrat except one voted for it. If they were to get control of the Senate, I think they would try to put that on the president's desk, particularly if they abolish the filibuster, which they intend to do. Another good reason for me to be the majority leader next year and not Chuck Schumer.
Let me now turn to a couple political questions, Mr. Leader. The president has condemned white supremacy often, the KKK. He did it again last night. He continues to be asked about it. Are the questions in good faith, in your opinion?
Oh, it's a shame that after all these years, we're still accusing each other of racist. I think a good quick answer for any politician is that white supremacy is abhorrent, unacceptable, and anybody asked should condemn it in the strongest possible way.
All right. We have discussed many times on the show your commitment to the Constitution, and I'm hoping that the McConnell judges will revive the prohibition against the taking of property without compensation. I hope Chevron deference will be overturned. Do you have any particular area where you hope the courts evolve quickly?
Well, I agree with you on all of those issues. We never know for sure how judges are going to rule. The founders were correct in giving them a lifetime appointment. All you can do is hope for the best, and I think the records of these 53 circuit judges and these 2 and now soon 3 Supreme Court justices indicate a strong adherence to the Constitution, and hopefully we'll see that reflected in the years to come as they live out their lifetime appointments and protect the Constitution and the laws of the United States in perpetuity.
Just a couple more questions about Judge Barrett. She's been called a generational talent. You have sat down with her, you've talked with her. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't know her all that well, but everybody I know who does know her say she is a generational talent. And, I'm kind of pleased to finally have somebody on the Supreme Court who didn't go to Harvard or Yale.
Amen. I'm a Michigan lawyer. Yeah, amen. Finally, we do have law schools that do not have Ivy League before them. Is she Scalia smart? Is she Ginsburg sweet?
I don't know who gets which suite. I believe Judge Gorsuch, Justice Gorsuch, is in Scalia's office at the moment. I don't know how they assign offices over there.
No, I meant nice. Judge Ginsburg was very, very nice to me when I was a clerk on the D.C. Circuit, and I think Scalia is the smartest judge I've ever met. Are they both? Is she smart and nice?
Oh yeah, an A+ personality. Everybody who's come in contact with her over the years absolutely loves and respects her. Yeah, you may have seen the op-ed in the Washington Post by one of our professors years ago in law school who said she was the single best student he ever had.
And a last question about the debates, Leader McConnell. What did you make of the debate? And if the president is still recovering, could they conduct the next debate virtually? I don't want them not to have it. We've got to have these individuals, and Joe Biden especially has to be asked about the Supreme Court again and again and again. What do you think about what happened on Tuesday night and going forward?
Well, it wasn't exactly Lincoln Douglas, and I think the public would be better served, and both candidates would be better served by more respectful exchanges. I hope we see that in the next debate, and I agree with you. I think it should go forward. Hopefully the president feels up to it, and, they can work this out remotely. We're doing an awful lot of things remotely these days because of the coronavirus. Hopefully they'll be able to do this as well.
Last question is political. The SenateLeadershipFund.org is where people give money if they want you to be deploying resources at the end. How does the control of the Senate look to you right now?
What was your say to you?
I said I think the SenateLeadershipFund.org is where people ought to be sending resources so that you have them at your disposal to deploy. What does the map look like to you right now? Do you think it is going to remain a Republican-controlled Senate?
Well, I think it's 50-50. We always knew this was going to be a challenging cycle because we had such a good years ago, and we have close, hard-fought races all over the country in Montana, Colorado, Arizona, Iowa, North Carolina, Maine. And the Democrats are competing with us in Kansas and Georgia and even South Carolina. So the American people have a big decision to make. Do they want to hand the Senate over to people who want to pack the Supreme Court, admit to new states, and blow up the procedures in the Senate? I think this is a big, big election. If I'm the majority leader, none of those things are going to happen.
Leader McConnell, thank you for joining me again. I hope we talk again before the election. You're going to win handily in Kentucky, but I know you've got quite a map to face. I appreciate the time this morning. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you.